Hello, everybody. It's Congressman Jamie Raskin. I'm coming to you this Thursday, September the 11th, for my favorite time of the week, Local Hero, and we get to zero in on the people who are making life in Maryland's beautiful 8th District so rich and meaningful. Our local hero this week is Joann Donnellan, who is the president of JD Media, and she is a true blue community activist and volunteer and advocate. And we're honoring her today for all of the great work she does. She happens to be at an event right now, a day of volunteerism called Meal Pack on 9/11, where thousands of people have gotten together to pack meals to give to hungry people throughout our region. But we're also honoring Joann, especially for her amazing work as a longtime volunteer with the Alzheimer's Association, as an Alzheimer's Association advocate, representing the whole National Capital area. She does that in honor of her mom, and I'm going to ask her to talk about that in a second. She's also served as a longtime volunteer and board member for St. Anne's Infant and Maternity Home in Hyattsville, Maryland, where she was adopted. That's the St. Anne Center for Children. And so we want to have her talk about that too. She's had a dazzling career in public life as a press secretary for the President's Commission on Care for America's Returning Wounded Warriors, working with Senator Bob Dole and Donna Shalala. She's been the media relations director and spokesperson for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. But for everything you do, 7 days a week, Joann Donnellan, we want to recognize you as our local hero today. And thank you for what you're doing today on 9/11.
Oh, I am so honored, Congressman. And it really is special, especially on this day, 9/11. So behind me, you might be able, hopefully you can see that today was 9/11 Day Meal Pack event in DC, one of 24 across the country. So today we had volunteers down there packing more than 430,000 of these bags of food, which will be distributed by the Capital Area Food Bank. So it's the whole organization started because they wanted to create something positive out of a tragedy, and to really, turn your attention to making a difference and giving back. And this is what all of these volunteers are doing today, and it's very uplifting.
And that's beautiful. I know it's happening around the country, and we have people all over America have tried to channel, all of the sorrow and tragedy around 9/11 into acts of public and community service. And given the terrible violence America experienced this week, with the death of Charlie Kirk, his assassination, and the shootings of the school kids in Colorado, it's even more meaningful to get people together in acts of community service. Now, that's not unusual for you. You do this all year round. You do it all around the week. I'm really interested in the work you've done with my friends at the Alzheimer's Association. You've been representing the National Capital Area chapter. First, tell us how you got into it, and then tell us what sorts of work you do with the association.
Right. Well, unfortunately, when you're getting involved with these organizations, it's the sad part, because my mom was diagnosed very early and she had it for 17 years. And so during that time, I really couldn't get involved that much because as a caregiver, there's so much involved. But once, and she passed away in 2014, and I knew I really needed to get involved because of the resources, and I just didn't want other families to go through some of the experiences that I went through. And I wanted to give her a legacy as well, because she was a nurse. And she was a really great nurse, and I know that she would really appreciate that I was trying to help other people, because that's the type of person that she was.
That's so beautiful. So what do you do when you go out acting as an advocate for?
Well, we come and visit you. So we
That's
do,
how met.
And that we're always so grateful because you are such a strong advocate for all of our, legislation. And so, basically we are looking at the legislation that is on Capitol Hill, but also we go down to the Maryland State House and we're talking with our state reps and, just trying to move to give more resources. We have the first new blood test to give money to NIH for, we want a cure, right? We want the latest and the greatest. Uh, um, um, vaccines, techniques, diagnostics. And so that's why it's so critical. And I feel so strongly. And I have been involved since 2015. It's also so it allows me to, help change the system. We had, a couple different situations when she was at the hospital where I was really shocked that people did not have the education and
Yep.
they had no idea how to interact with her. And there is legislation now on Capitol Hill and trying to get more resources and training to doctors, to nurse practitioners. And so those are the type of programs that fuel me because again, I don't want other family members to go through some of the experiences that I went to.
You spend a lot of your time and your energy on that, and that, of course, is for older people. But you've also been a very active volunteer and board member, I believe, with the St. Anne Center for Children,
Yes.
where you were adopted. So tell us that whole
I
story.
was. I spent.
Because I'm proud to be your congressman. I know you live in Silver Spring, but you were born in Prince George's County, right?
Actually, I was born in DC.
Are you born in DC?
Born in DC, and then I stayed at St. Anne's for about 6 weeks while my adoption was being finalized.
Yeah.
And after college, I felt compelled to go back because they took care of me in the primal stage of my life, and I wanted to go back as a volunteer. And back then, we're talking AIDS babies. So not that I want to date myself, but we had St. Anne's Infant Maternity Home was no longer a home where children were adopted from, and basically a lot of the endangered children around the region would be dropped off. And, sister, we would be taking them to the hospital. So, but during that time, there were AIDS babies that were holding and taking care of. And so it's transitioned, through the years in terms of the care, because again, there's no longer adoptions. But so I just felt compelled, and then they invited me to be on the board, and I've just kept in touch because again, it touched my heart. I found the sister that took care of me back in 1964, and I found her 3 months before she passed away from cancer. And then she used to write me little letters. I lived in New York at the time, and she would sign them, your nursery mom. And it really, and then she passed away. But we developed a really nice.
Well, sorry you lost her, and she sounds like a beautiful soul, like you. You've had this amazing career. I know you were at Fox News, working for America's Most Wanted,
Right.
or Fox 5 in DC, WBO, and Baltimore, Fox News Channel, and on and on. But you seem to be really undaunted in your philanthropic and your volunteer activities. And I wonder if you would just close us out by telling us like what it means to you to be doing all this kind of stuff.
I just think it's in my soul, right? I mean, I think that and it just brings so much joy. And, and we all know that, you give to others, you care for other people, it comes back to you 1,000-fold. Right. And I just think it's a part of my core. And I've had, my dad, he volunteered at Sacred Heart Home, and he was a dentist, and he used to help over there. And so I've had great role models in terms of, service. And it's just, I feel like it's just really a part of my core. So,
well, it clearly is that, and you are just a model in terms of transforming difficulty and hardship and pain into hope and light and service to other people in every way. So Thank you for being our local hero. Thank you for everything you're doing for the kids and for people suffering Alzheimer's and for medical progress and for our community. We're honored to have you as our local hero, Joann.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to live in your district, Congressman.